A very good evening, everyone. I am Suman Das, and as we have touched a milestone of 6 successful lectures of the Dr. Himangsu Sharma Memorial Lecture Series, we now welcome one and all to the seventh lecture today. We have as a speaker and resource person Dr. Madhuri Hoikia. She is an assistant professor in the Department of History, Dakshin Kamrup College, Mirza, Assam. Dr. Leela Kanta Thakur, Principal, Morigao College, and who is also a patron of the Dr. Himangshu Sharma Memorial Lecture Series, has joined us too. We also have with us Dr. Sharada Shri Chaudhary. I request everyone to kindly mute their mics because it's a little disturbing while we talk. We have with us Dr. Sharada Shri Chaudhary. She is an assistant professor of the Department of English, Morigao College, and also the wife of Dr. Himangshu Sharma. Joining us today, I think we have with us the coordinator of IQAC of Morga College, Dr. Ranjit Kolita. We welcome you, sir. Joining us today are the members of the organizing committee, students, faculty members, non-teaching staff, and also teachers and scholars and researchers from different institutions. Welcoming everyone once again, I now request Dr. Leela Kanta Thakur, sir, principal of Morega College, to deliver the welcome note and inaugurate the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Suman. Good evening to everyone. Respected Speaker, Dr. Madhuri Saikia, Associate Professor, Department of History, DK College, Mirza, Kamrup. My respected colleague, IQAC Coordinator, Dr. Ranjit Kolita, Dr. Sarada Sri Chaudhary, Assistant Professor, Department of English and wife of Dr. Himangsu Sharma, HOD, Department of History, Morigao College, Deepak Kolita and other faculty members of the department, my respected teachers who have joined this webinar in the lecture series, scholars, respected participants, and my dear students. I feel very happy and great honored to welcome you all to this lecture program, which can be considered as one of the auspicious program organized by the Department of History of our college in memory of our beloved colleague, Dr. Himangsu Sharma. The department has been continuously organizing Himangsu Sharma Memorial Lecture Series, and this is a 7th Memorial Lecture Program. This endeavor of the department is a highly appreciable, and I am very much thankful to them. Whenever I personally feel very complicated, uncomfortable, trouble in performing my responsibility towards the academic agenda of the college, I deeply feel Dr. Himangsu's absence. Although he was very young in respect of administrative affairs, his views, opinion showed total maturity in him, and I used to take opinion, suggestion from him in various parameters of the institution. He was a coordinator of the KK Hendik State Open University Morigao College Study Center, and he successfully ran the center and uplifted the center onto a certain height. He made the center one of the best centers of the state. Even I appointed him as a IQAC coordinator.
I think we lost contact with sir, or there must be some technical glitch here.
despite her busy schedule. I hope this lecture will be a very successful one and will be fruitful for our students and the participants. With these few words, I want to conclude my welcome speech and declare that this lecture program is inaugurated. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind and inspiring words as always. Moving on to the next activity, we have with us Dr. Sharada Sri Chaudhary, Assistant Professor, Department of His English, and also the wife of Dr. Himangsu Sharma. I request ma'am to speak a few words remembering Dr. Sharma. Over to you, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. Suman, hope I'm audible.
Yes,
Am
ma'am,
I
you are.
audible,
Yes,
Suman?
yes, 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 yes.
Respected Principal Sir of Morigaon College, Dr. Lilakanta Borthakur, Honorable Speaker of the 7th lecture of Dr. Himangsu Sharma Memorial Lecture Series, Dr. Madhurin Khoikia, Associate Professor of the Department of History, DK College, Mirza, respected colleagues, honorable guests, and participants across various disciplines. At the outset, I express my sincere gratitude to the college authority and to the Department of History, Morigaon College, for planning and organizing this lecture series in fond memory of my husband, Himangsu Sharma. It is a very, very difficult task to say something about a person who means the world to you, because it is difficult to decide what to say and what not to say. At the same time, it is the most cherished task too, as one could go on and on singing praises. A man is known by his deeds in this life and is remembered for his deeds after life. Today, we are commemorating Himangsu Sharma only because of the good deeds that he had performed and the exemplary attitude towards life, towards work, towards human relationships that he has shown to us all. So whatever he did is, everybody will agree, is overwhelmingly splendid and exemplary. So in these years of togetherness, I have known him uh, as a, as a person, and I have known what it means to have a beautiful mind, what it means to love without expectations, what it means to have a true friend, an honest critic, what it means to render selfless service to your friends, to your relations, to the workplace, and to the society at large. In his short span of life of 43 years, Himangsu had discharged several responsibilities as an employee, as a teacher, as a responsible citizen. He was the coordinator of KKHSOU Morigaon College Study Center for a period of 10 years. He was the secretary of Morigaon College Teachers Unit from 2013 to 2015. He was the IUMS coordinator, the head of the Department of History, and he played a very, very influential and an instrumental role, as I have said earlier as well, in drafting the SSR for assessment and accreditation by NAC in the year 2019. He was the president of Ananyo, in the capacity of which Ananyo is an NGO which took its birth owing to the efforts of Himangsu. So, in the capacity of the president of the NGO, he has shown the extent of selflessness to which a person can go in the service of mankind. In spite of his workaholic nature, he always found time for me and our daughter. He also found time for his students and cared for them like a father, not only as a professional teacher. His loss is irreparable for me, for my daughter, and for the college, maybe, as Principal Sir has already told us, that how, to the extent that Sir depended, Sir wanted Himangsu to be with him by his side. So the college, it is undoubtedly we could say that the college has lost a precious part of it. Himangshu, he never complained or blamed anyone for the things that did not happen to him, and I have never seen him blaming others, whether for any issue in the workplace, which he always handled with calm and equanimity of mind, or for the undiagnosed illness that he was suffering from. He endured and he endured like a saint, like a sage. Once again, I take this opportunity to thank one and all who stood by me in this life transforming phase that I went through and that I'm going through. I also take this opportunity to thank one and all once again for organizing this lecture series, and especially today I would like to express my gratitude and thankfulness to Dr. Madhuri Saikia, who is very dear to me, for accepting this invitation and honoring us today with her valuable, I'm sure that this is going to be one of the most cherished lectures of Dr. Himangsu Sharma Memorial Lecture Series. So with that and on that note, I welcome you, Madam, once again. And with this, I would also like to wind up. And over to you, Suman. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. As I have already told, I mean, I have been telling time and again in every lecture that we get to know something new about here, Dr. Sharma, all the time. And like today, I mean, learning from him, his endurance, his patience, his calmness is something that we need to learn and imbibe in our daily lives, I presume. And I think we should. So moving ahead with the technical session, I would like to first take the honor and utmost pleasure in introducing our resource person and speaker for the day. We have with us Dr. Madhuri Saikia. She is an associate professor in the Department of History at Dakhin Kamrup College, Mirza, Assam. Having completed her master's in history from Guwahati University, she completed a second master's degree in tourism management and also has a diploma in creative writing in English from Indira Gandhi National Open University. Dr. Soikia has a PhD in colonial heritage and urban development from Indian Institute of Technology, IIT Guwahati. She has presented research papers in national and international conferences and has published research papers in various national and international journals of repute. Dr. Saikia is widely interested in matters related to tourism and heritage management. Besides, she has edited a book titled Rethinking Colonialism and Globalization, the historical saga of India from the 19th century onwards, from DVS Publishers, Guwahati, New Delhi in 2018. Apart from that, ma'am takes special interest in blogging as well. And the site title of the blog is Home Away from Home. And the link of the title of the blog site will be shared in the WhatsApp group that we have as well. Today, she'll be delivering a lecture on the topic Understanding Heritage, its role in developing Mayong as a tourist destination. On behalf of the entire Himangsu Sharma Memorial Lectures Series group, I welcome you, ma'am, once again, and it's over to you for the technical session to begin. Thank you, ma'am.
Can you see the slides? Can you
Yes,
please
Yes,
see
ma'am.
ma'am.
the
We can.
slide?
Yes, yes.
And am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Okay. At the very outset, and I would like to say that it was a very nice introduction about me. And I would like to thank the organizing committee of Dr. Himangsu Sharma Memorial Lecture Series, and I believe this is the seventh lecture series. And I would like to especially thank Dr. Shardashri. You know, I had met her some few years ago in Guwahati University while we were doing a refresher course, and then I came to know her. And even in the month of July, actually, she requested me for the first memorial lecture, but then After we talked and I accepted, I had a very bad COVID and I was in the hospital and I am suffering still from a post COVID condition, actually. So I'm praying to God that I can perform better today. It's not very easy to keep on talking for quite long, but then I have been recovering uh, now. And then again, I would like to thank the principal of Morigao College, Dr. Leela Barthakur. And even I know personally Professor Jogan Kolita, who is supposed to be the president of the governing body of Morigao College. Thank you, all the organizers. Then again, the HOD, young person, Deepak Kalita, who has been talking to me over the phone. I have seen him today in the screen. Then again, the introducer and all the students, the colleagues, my colleagues in my college, my students, whoever might have joined. Thank you all for, sending me this proposal for giving a lecture. And then I would like now to start with the lecture. Okay. So the title of my presentation is Understanding Heritage, Its Role in Developing Mayong as a Tourist Destination. And I am Madhuri Saikya, Associate Professor in the Department of History of Dakshin Kamrup College, Mirza. The very first photograph that you can see here is that of the Bamiyan Buddha in Afghanistan, which is no longer there. This was actually our heritage. This is our heritage, and it has been blown in the 2000s, by the Taliban. So what does heritage mean? Let us understand what heritage means. Heritage is usually defined as what we inherit, what we value, or what we want to pass on to future generations. According to Maskell in 2002, he said, heritage involves questions of identity, locality, religion, and economic value. Heritage does not belong to any single nation, it belongs to the entire humankind. The 1999 Second Protocol of the Hague Convention enumerates measures for strengthening cultural heritage property, preparation of inventories, planning of emergency measures for protection against accidents, provision of protection of cultural property in situ, etc. Local problems, however, has to be addressed locally. History, heritage, and tourism are of utmost necessity for developing a destination. Every nation promotes its history and heritage for attracting tourists to the destinations, whether international, domestic, or local. The effort of UNESCO in developing certain places as World Heritage Sites has done wonders in popularizing different destinations around the world and in uplifting various sites. As a result, people develop an interest in seeing and understanding the various heritage sites and promoting these places as well for the sake of boosting tourism. There are two forms of heritage, cultural heritage and natural heritage, which are an indispensable part of tourism. According to the 1972 Convention of UNESCO, cultural heritage includes monuments, architectural works, sculptures, paintings, inscriptions, group of buildings which are of outstanding universal value. Whereas natural heritage, according to the convention, includes natural features like physical, biological, geological formations constituting the habitat of threatened species of animals, plants, and natural sites like water bodies, sacred groves, etc., which are of outstanding universal value from the point of view of science, conservation, or natural beauty. Heritage assets are of two kinds, tangible and intangible. Tangible heritage are man-made monuments which are of outstanding universal value. They are what the the built environment is composed of. These monuments speak about our past, our identity, and therefore they are our heritage. People place value on both forms of heritage and therefore visit destinations to enjoy the archaeological sites and architectural edifices and also to take part in the fairs and festivals. Culture has always been the reason for travel. The Grand Tour from the 16th century onwards has seen the movement of people for the sake of travel, knowledge, recreation, rejuvenation of health, etc. Cultural attractions are unique to each destination, and they are one of the most appealing factors of the tourist destinations. Herein comes historic preservation of the heritage sites, so that the fascinating monuments which tell the story of every dynasty, culture, fairs, and festivals continue to exist till posterity and showcase the heritage assets to the tourists. So herein you can see the pictures of the various heritage sites across the world. The one above is that of the Parthenon in Greece. The middle one is that of Hampi. It is a World Heritage Site. Then again, that's the Christ Church that was constructed way back in 1844 and reconstructed again due to earthquake again in 1901, and it is still there. And this is considered to be the built heritage. Heritage is anything which is inherited. The UNESCO has decided that any monument that is 100 years old should be considered as heritage. Heritage is a broad concept and includes the natural as well as cultural environment. The term includes landscapes, historic places, sites, and built environment, cultural practices, etc. The various forms of heritage which attracts tourists to a destination are tradition and festivals, art, music, carnivals, concerts, paintings and sculptures, architecture, handicrafts, temples and religious places, natural heritage, food, indigenous technology, etc. It is accepted that the monument does not belong to the past alone, but it belongs to the present and future, and it should be protected for posterity. Hence, a heritage site does not belong to any one nation. It is shared wealth of humankind, and the community has a role to protect and preserve the cultural and the natural heritage sites. When tourists come to visit these sites, the sites are automatically developed. Hotels and accommodation stand centers also starts developing, and various infrastructures like roads, electricity, and then the restaurants also start developing. The 1964 Venice Charter propounded on the idea that historic monuments include not only great works of art, but also more modest works of the past, which have acquired cultural significance with the passage of time. Concepts of vernacular architecture, industrial settlements, cultural landscapes, and also intangible cultural landscapes are included within heritage. Today, with the widening of the scope of heritage, the subject is under the expert supervision of a wide range of social actors like the local communities as primary stakeholders. While, as the scope of tourism has widened from ecotourism to gastronomic or adventure tourism, etc., cultural tourism, which has more participants, have gradually exploded, and more people have started visiting archaeological sites, historic monuments, museums, etc. Built heritage is considered to be the primary tourist attraction. Historic centers are dedicated to tourism. The UNESCO Convention of 1972 undertakes for each country to adopt a general policy which aims to give the cultural and natural heritage a function in the life of the community, to set up within its territories where such services do not exist, one or more services for the protection, conservation, and presentation of the cultural and natural heritage with an appropriate staff, to take appropriate legal, scientific, technical, administrative, and financial protection, conservation, presentation, and rehabilitation of the heritage. It is known that a monument belongs to the present and the future, and it should be protected for posterity. As World Heritage is shared heritage of humankind, protecting and preserving them requires the collective efforts of the international community. At a time of increasing globalization, the protection, conservation, interpretation, and presentation of the heritage and cultural diversity of any particular place has become a necessity. Heritage is considered to be important because it speaks about us, our origin, culture, and identity, the material and industrial life of the people in the past, etc. How to recreate our heritage and showcase it to the tourist is a part of the heritage industry, which is nowadays an integral part of the ever expanding tourism industry. A primary objective of managing heritage is to communicate its significance and the need for conservation to the visitors and to the host community. It is our duty to respect the heritage values, the host communities, custodians, or owners of historic property. So far as India is concerned, the built heritage, which forms part of our cultural heritage, is a priceless treasure handed down from generations. The heritage resources are now facing the threat from the vagaries of nature, population pressure in heritage sites, vandalism, etc. But this is more applicable particularly in those areas which have crossed the limits of tourist carrying capacity. Major developments which are associated with the heritage resources are tourism, education, e-commerce, etc. Tourism is a leisure activity which ranges from adventure, sports, cultural voyages, etc. Since we have the heritage resources, there is a thriving tourism industry. So the connection between the two is strong. The information that we receive from heritage resources is the base for understanding the roots of our identity and the origins of our civilization. Tourism, its concept. Travel is an ancient activity. People have traveled since ancient times in search of food and shelter, for religious purposes, to visit the spas in Rome, for purposes of trade and commerce. The Renaissance saw a huge movement of people around the world. Travel also came to be associated with fulfilling the need for education in different places. Travel in ancient times was not associated with luxury. Later on, with increasing transportation system and fast-moving aircrafts, particularly after Second World War, the concept of tourism became popular and people traveled to different parts of the globe. Tourism is essential as it provides a change from the monotony of day-to-day life. Though people have traveled all around the world since the very beginning of civilization, nevertheless travel nowadays have become very much professional and has an economic basis. Besides travel agencies, tourist information offices, accommodation centers, luxury hotels, improved modern mode of transport, better economic condition of the people facilitated the process of tourism. Here again, you can see some pictures of the ancient travelers, how travel was difficult then. Then again, you can also see the picture from the Silk Route days. They were travelers who, used these caravan of camels and they used to trade. It was a very difficult process of trade. And again, you can see the modern day tourists, how they are using aircrafts. Modern tourism depends on the combined efforts of the various constituents like transportation, accommodation, catering, food and entertainment, travel agency and tour operators, guides, etc. Transport is the primary tourist service needed by the tourists to reach the destinations. Accommodation comprises of traditional and supplementary ones. An adequate supply of accommodation suitably tailored to the requirements of the tourist markets is one of the basic conditions of tourism development. Travel agency is an organization in the private sector which plays a major role in promoting tourism. The travel agencies give up-to-date information regarding various services available in the destinations, prepare itinerary, makes programs covering different seasons of the year. Besides selling tickets, the travel agents arranges package tours, reserve hotels, etc. Most countries of the world have fabulous tourism assets, which the footloose and fancy-free holidaymakers of the world would like to visit. In this connection, all the organizations related directly or indirectly to tourism helps. Here again, you can see the pictures of some five-star hotels, then again, a luxury transportation, then again, the various travel agencies available to us across the world. Tourism is a leisure activity, which means going away to return home with a refreshed mind. It rejuvenates the health. It is a shift from the daily drudgery of work, which enables a tourist to enjoy the bliss and experience the varied beauty of the places visited. Being a service industry, the services provided by tourism industry is a well thought out exercise which is to be estimated in advance by the producers of the service. Within the services are making available passenger transport, accommodations, catering and hospitality, making arrangements for sightseeing, shopping, etc. The movement of the people in search of different tourist products has led to the growth and development of particular destinations. Heritage and natural assets are the primary motivators for travel to particular destinations. How to recreate our destination and showcase it to the tourist is a part of the heritage industry, which is an integral part of the tourism industry. The primary objective of heritage is to communicate to the visitors about its significance and the need for conservation. There is a strong connection between heritage and tourism. The heritage resources have led to the thriving tourism industry. Tourism, on the other hand, is a leisure activity ranging from its association with adventure, ecotourism, adventure, again, wildlife, sports, religion, culture, again, archaeology, etc. Development surrounding the heritage resources is primarily through the internet, which develops electronic brochures to advertise the potential to visit these places. Besides the community entrepreneurs, tourism officers also advertise these places through brochures and hoardings, electronic media, making documentaries, videos, etc. Tourism is a great revenue earner for each state and the country at large. Here again, you can see a beautiful picture of the Colosseum in Rome. What is the relationship between heritage and tourism? Tourism is an excellent way by which the past can be preserved. Preserving and showcasing the past is an industry which produces and markets the various tourism products. Heritage has become a big business now and is a part of the entertainment sector. The knowledge of the past is recreated today to show it to the tourist. Heritage will not survive if it is not preserved. Hence, there are various legislations through which cultural heritage sites are protected. Cultural heritage sites include historic and archaeological sites, historic buildings, gardens, trees, cemeteries, etc. And these are also tourism assets of each village, city, or a country. These assets may be lost in the sands of time, but the ruins remain and the tourists visit them to identify themselves with the heritage which can tell us about long periods of time and the social and cultural changes brought by them. Heritage has the ability to include and value the past, the people, and the environments. These attract the tourists and bring them to the various destinations where our past is located around us. Apart from the historical past, other attractions which invite the tourist are the climate, scenic beauty, wildlife, vegetation, villages, cities, etc., which are popular with the tourists. Tourism is a powerful economic activity which generates revenue, creates jobs, then introduces new business opportunities, and they stress on the development and the well-being of the society at large. As heritage is considered as a resource, its importance increases when the object or monument is considered to be of outstanding value to humanity. This is followed by protection, conservation, and preservation of the heritage. In the Indian context, there are various laws for the protection of the cultural heritage resources. Number one is the Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act 1958. Secondly, the Antiquities and Art Treasures Act 1972 for heritage conservation. Three, the Ancient Monuments and the Archaeological Sites and Remains Act of 2010. Then Supreme Court judgment, that's again another act of 2012. And there are also laws and acts passed by the various state governments in favor of protection and preservation of heritage and archaeological sites. Considering the importance of heritage for the development of tourism and the destinations at large, the present study has been carried out in Mayong. Mayong, the land of mystery and black magic. Mayong, the cradle of black magic and witchcraft, is situated about 40 kilometers away from Guwahati, the premier city of northeastern India. It is located in the Morrigaon district of Assam. Due to lack of evidence, it is difficult to say how black magic, sorcery, and witchcraft came to be associated with this place and practiced with much interest by the local quacks known as Bej or Oja. This art and craft of black magic has been passed down the generations. There are tales that men can be turned into beasts, etc. These are no longer practiced now as people are moving out to cities for better opportunities and the art may soon pass into history. Today, the art form continues to be preserved in the museum through photographs and other forms of documentations. Mayong is situated in the lap of nature amidst rich green surroundings. Winter is the best time to visit Mayong, particularly from October to March. The endless stretches of yellow-colored mustard cultivation covering the dales and agricultural fields throughout Mayong are a feast for the eyes. Besides the local rural communities and lifestyle, the spinning and weaving of homemade clothes, the walk through the banyan trees and bamboo groves, through the paddy fields to reach the interior of the villages, the temples, the scattered archaeological sites, the scenic beauty, all these can make Mayong a much sought after tourist destination. There are various attractions in Mayong which can excite the interest of the tourist, besides invite the tourist to visit this fascinating land laden with mystery. These attractions are the tourist products which can help develop Mayong and place it in the tourism map of India. Some of the tourist places in Mayong and its neighborhood areas are the Mayong Museum, the Vishnu Temple, Kajuli Soki, where the cannonballs of the days of the Ahoms are located. It is a state protected site. Then there is Kasasila, the Deosal Shiva Temple, Sita Jokhala, Morrigaon, Dry Fish Market, etc. Then again, there is an inscription at Buramayong, the Kesai Kaiti Tan, and around 32 archaeological sites. Besides the eye-catching scenic beauty, then there is Sonoka Eco Resort, the waterfalls, Pobitora Wildlife Sanctuary, etc. The famous Junbil Mela, which is a huge traditional market held on the eve of Mag Bihu in the month of January for 3 days, where barter is even today the medium of exchange of commodities. The Tiwa, Karbi, and the Jayantia communities take part in the Junbil Mela, in which the tourists can get an opportunity to learn about the culture, customs, and traditions of the local people surrounding Mayong. Tourists also interact with the local healers from Mayong who are even today well versed with black magic, Ayurveda, and old mantras for healing varied diseases and life challenges, though these are now dying arts. Mayong is a place which is full of unexplored tourist attractions and located at a close proximity to Pobitura, but nevertheless, this destination is still less known. What is destination? Let us see how it looks. Destination is a physical space which has physical and administrative boundaries, having various stakeholders, host communities. Tourism destinations have 6 elements: attractions, amenities, accessibility, human resources, image and character, and price. whereas attractions are beaches, mountains, iconic buildings, heritage, amenities are facilities, infrastructure, accommodation, shopping facilities. Accessibility is the distance to the destination via transportation. Image is the unique character of the destination, like sites. Environmental quality, safety, human resources is the local community, a well trained tourism workforce who are aware of the growth of the destinations, and price factors relates to the cost of transport to and from the destinations and cost of the accommodation, attractions, food, etc. For planning tourism in Mayong or in that case in any other tourism destinations, organizations would have to work in unison with municipal boards, private sectors, and communities. These are the challenges for the destination managers. What makes a great destination? Services, safety, facilities make a destination great apart from the attractions. For developing Mayong as a destination, the various attractions like the environment, water supply, culture, history, the people, accommodations, provision of eateries, parks, road connectivity, airlines, travel agencies, and communications for development of the place, and for better information and for promoting Mayong as a destination is of primary importance. So it needs to be connected with the media and the internet. For a rural landscape like Mayong, with less tourist amenities and accommodation centers, the hotels in Guwahati and the resorts in Povitra Wildlife Sanctuary can cater to the needs of the tourist. Organizing festivals to exhibit the art, crafts, costumes, foods, dances, etc., has become another emerging trend in tourism destination development. Food festivals to exhibit the various exotic and traditional delicacies of the destinations are a way of marketing tourism. Ecotourism, to experience the nature at its best, is another way by which Mayong as a destination can be promoted. To enjoy nature, serene climate, lush green beauty, and how to protect and preserve them through tourism are some of the ways by which Mayong can be developed as a destination. The role of travel agents and tour operators in marketing a destination is also important. These facilities are not very popular in Mayong, but more such facilities should be provided from nearby Guwahati. Rural tourism and archaeological tourism can be developed in Mayong. As Mayong is not popular as a destination, therefore the attractions like nature, adventure, cultural, and archaeological have to be developed as packages. Since the location is a rural type, hence alternative and subsidiary accommodations need to be developed. Attention should be given to the response of the local population so that whatever developments are made for the sake of developing Mayong as a destination is also enjoyed by the local population. For marketing the destination, festivals and events need to be popularized as tourism products. These create an impact in the minds of the tourist and also improve the image of the destination. Nowadays, people are more desirous of visiting quaint small towns and heritage-oriented events. Under such circumstances, the archaeological heritage of Mayong, covering 32 different sites, can be made the center of attraction along with other attractions and promoted as a tourist package. Musical events are also an interesting way of bringing alive a region. Holding of sports, particularly adventure sports, is another important way by which a destination can be promoted. The idea is to let a tourist experience this place, which is not off beaten track. When a destination is designed and planned, it benefits the entire community. We have to keep that in mind. While planning to develop a destination, there must be coordination between transportation, roads, streetlights, hotels, monuments, parks, etc. More importantly, the local people should be made aware about the kind of development that will take place for developing a destination. When a destination is developed, care should be taken to minimize negative impact on the place, its environment, etc. We should take care of all these things. Importance should be given to installation of water supply and sewage disposal system for the use of by hotels to prevent pollution, avoid traffic congestion, building infrastructure. Then again, open spaces and parks should be provided as well as generous use of suitable landscaping must be encouraged in the hotels and resorts. The primary features essential for destination planning are development of leadership and management capacities, environmental management, policy development, heritage resource conservation, transportation planning, public participation and educating the locals, public-private partnerships between governments, public organization, community, industry, training of staff, taking care of security of the tourist and the public, building infrastructure, determining tourist carrying capacity. However, in the case of developing Mayong as a destination, tourist carrying capacity has less value now, as the destination hasn't seen much tourist inroads. Besides, offering literature of the area through brochures depicting the sites and local cultural values through hoardings, videos, and documentaries will improve the overall effect of the destinations. How can we consider heritage as a nation building force? Cultural heritage is seen as an instrument for peace and reconciliation. Its protection and conservation can play a key role in rebuilding societies and overcoming the sense of loss and displacement caused by conflicts. It is this very principle that has guided International Center for Conservation and Restoration of Monuments, shortly ICROM, to introduce the first aid to cultural heritage in times of conflicts. To construct national identity, it is necessary to highlight the history of the nation, region, local area, and of the community who are responsible for and are related to the heritage, each in their own area. According to the Council of Europe regarding the role of cultural heritage in conflict resolution, heritage is a means for people to understand each other. It contributes through tolerance to the prevention of conflicts. So that was the Council of Europe commenting on what heritage means in 2011. This can be achieved with a focus on human beings and cultures as multi-layered and complex, instead of presenting human beings with fixed identities within fixed cultures. A disaster management cycle is a prerequisite for the management of cultural heritage resources in times of conflict and peace today. They are preparedness, response, recovery, rebuilding, prevention, and mitigation. However, in the case of threats from urbanization, the alternative is to document the sites for future. To conclude, tourism is useful to heritage just as heritage is useful for tourism. Tourism is an excellent way by which the past can be preserved, protected, and even popularized. It is the largest revenue earner for most countries of the world. By encouraging heritage tourism, the public can be made to understand that heritage has the ability to value the past, the people, and the environment. Tourists contribute to the preservation of cultural heritage through visitors' entry fees of what have been inherited, historic buildings, artworks, natural beauty, etc. By respecting the heritage resources, the tourist would be able to accept that cultural heritage is fragile. We have to give due importance to this, and that it is disappearing all the time. Cultural heritage belongs to the whole humanity. Together, conservation professionals, media, archaeologists, environmentalists, and the public can preserve the cultural heritage for the future. People participate in preserving the assets of a destination through their very involvement in the tourism industry. Heritage resources play a significant role in the upliftment of the destinations through the tourism activities. Improvement of tourism in a destination leads to development of the economic condition of the people of the area. The region develops infrastructure like road connectivity, water and electricity supply, develops linkages with local businessmen and the service providers, etc. All these leads to sustainable developments besides improving the quality of life of the people. In this connection, the motive of the present study in converting Mayong into a tourism destination is to transform the challenges faced by Mayong into opportunities by encouraging tourism. Tourism in Mayong is not mature, hence, the place should be marketed and promoted as an interesting site. A tourist destination combines public and private stakeholders, tangible and intangible elements, and can connect neighboring areas to form larger destinations. Mayong, characterized by archaeological heritage and natural beauty, can be explored as a tourism destination with the active participation of local stakeholders interested in developing the region from the sustainable point of view. This approach can build local identity and citizens can identify themselves with their region and resources and build a destination. Our heritage is our asset. With our understanding of the importance of heritage destinations like Mayong, a scope of developing as a destination and exposing it to the world for the tourist, the image of the place will also have to be improved. The idea of heritage is a universal one and it will flourish only if people act as its stewards. Your Place or Mine, a joint venture of the English Heritage and the National Trust in England, had in the first decade of the 21st century discussed as to how to reach out to the wider audiences and tell the stories of the diverse communities who make up our society. This is the essence of heritage. It is the ability to include and value the past, the people, and the environment. Conservation of the heritage sector can help in the growth of the tourism sector as well. So these are my references, and thank you for giving me a patient hearing.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your enriching and informative presentation on tourism. It was indeed enlightening to listen to you of how you started with uh, talking on the heritage and tourism as is an important aspect of economy, and then the paradigm shift that tourism has seen over the years, and then shifting to a microscopic level of understanding of Mayong as a prospective destination for tourism. And it was very interesting at first, and secondly it was very enlightening to know about a place so near to us because I'm new here, so it was very interesting to know about Mayong as such. Having said that, I would now like to move to the next activity, which is responses from the participants. Any questions, any queries, any thing you would like the participants would like to ask to the resource person are welcomed.
Suman. Suman, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. I would just like to mention something which is, very relevant to today's presentation that Dr. Saikia has made, as well as, it's something that is connected to Himangsu as well, because, after all, it is a memorial lecture series. Deepak knows, actually, Himangsu had started a, a tourist information center at the Department of History here at Morrigan College. But unfortunately, he could not carry the work forward further. Like our speaker has mentioned, that collaborations with the municipality board and all is very important. because ultimately government intervention is necessary to develop a spot as a tourist destination. So here I would like to express my hopefulness that the Department of History, Moregaon College, would carry forward that work that has been started by Himangsu. And I also take this opportunity to express my gratitude to Dr. Madhuri Saikia for giving such a wonderful presentation. And I mean, I think this topic that she has chosen, it's something that is very, 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 very relevant to the place where we are located, because she has spoken of Mayong and how it could be developed into a destination, a prospective tourist spot. So thank you, Dr. Saikia, once again. And this is all that I would like to mention. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Uh, any questions, any queries, any responses from the participants are highly welcomed. I think we should move ahead to the next activity. Before we proceed to the last but not the least activity of the day, there is a feedback link that has been shared on your screens, on the participants' screens. Kindly share the feedback, fill up the feedback form and submit it to us. It is very essential for us to know to have the feedback form every time we conduct such a lecture. So we request all the participants to fill up the feedback form. Then moving ahead to the next activity, in the last activity of the day, which is vote of thanks to be delivered by Mr. Deepak Kolita. He is the head of the Department of History, Moregaon College. I request sir to deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. Good evening to one and all gathered here on this wonderful evening. It gives me immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks to all dignitaries assembled here. We take this golden opportunity to thank our respected chief patron of this lecture series, Jogan Chandra Kolita sir, for his valuable suggestion. And I would like to extend my patron and the principal Moregaon College, Dr. Lilakanta Borthakur sir, for encouraging us in organizing this event. I would like to thank our resource person, Dr. lecture and valuable for giving us valuable time. Thank you, ma'am. I would like to extend my gratitude to the technical support Mr. Kumar Das, Assistant Professor, Department of Geography, Assistant Professor, Department of Geography, Moregaon College. And also all the members of IQAC.
Sir, I'm extremely sorry to interrupt, but I think there is a issue in your network, and we are unable to hear you.
The voice is getting echoed.
Yes.
Hello? Hello?
হয় হয় এইবাৰ শুনিছো sir, এইবাৰ শুনিছো.
Is it?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay. Next, I would like to thank
Better now.
Dr. Charasi Chaudhary Sarmah, wife of Dr. Himangsu Sarmah, and Assistant Professor, Department of English, Moregaon College, for supporting us in this. Thank you, ma'am. Last but not least, I would like to thank all the members of Himangsu Sarmah Memorial Lecture Series and my colleague Suman Das, Nikhil Kumar Deka, and Vallabh Nath for giving constant support in organizing this event. And I also like to thank all the participants and students, teachers, teachers more uh, this event and make this event successful now. Thank you. Suman.
I presume it's sir has spoken. I mean, it was inaudible at the end. Anyways, thank you so much, sir, for your kind words again. The feedback link, as I've already mentioned, has been shared by Bulbul Das, Assistant Professor, Computer Applications Department, Moregaon College. Kindly fill up the feedback link because it's very, very essential for us. Having said that, we have almost come to an end of today's program, and it was a splendid program, again, a successful one. Thank you, ma'am, on behalf of the entire organizing committee of Dr. Himangsu Sarmah Memorial Lecture Series. We have come to an end of the 7th lecture with a promise to meet again in the next month with another lecture, with another interesting topic, perhaps. We will again meet the next time. Until then, thank you so much for your patient listening and for bearing with us again. There were technical glitches, but then everyone was taking till the very end. Thank you so much again. And with that note, we'll end today's lecture. Thank you so much, everyone.